How many people here is interested in being successful? To be able to gain success. And success is defined in different ways. Success could be money, could be automobiles, it could be having a degree, being elected to office, whatever success is for you, okay? I'm going to put here, and I'm going to start from the bottom. So we're going to have success over here, okay? Now, what does it take to get success? What does it take to do anything is something you need to do. What does it take to be successful? You got to be in what to be successful? In order to be successful, you have to produce something. And in order to be successful, I say, you have to be in action. So here we have action. Action will take you to success. We're together so far? What happened in organizations? And sometimes it happens on families. We are not producing the results that we need to be able to call it we are successful. So what do we tell people? When the action is not producing the results, what do we tell them to do?
We tell them to do it again, or?
Well, that would not be very good. We're doing it twice. We're losing money now. But yeah, we can say do it again. But what do we usually tell people?
Well, it's usually ineffective, whatever we tell them. We're like, just, you need to get in action. You need to do it again. It's like ineffective.
No, you don't say that. You say that. That's not what, come on, think. You have to work faster. You have to work longer. This is the one that kills me. You have to work smarter. Really? Work smarter for me, will you? See the cliches that we have in language? There are studies that have been done with freshman students in college about telling people to speed up the action, to work longer, to work smarter. It's a couple other things that they tell people to do in organizations. They have proved that you cannot get more than 10% increase in productivity. If you work faster, if you work longer, you work smarter, if you do those things, you're not going to increase productivity more than 10%. But notice this, you're paying your workers. When they're working longer, we're working overtime. And you got to pay time and a half. But you're getting only 10% return. How good are we doing? How good are we doing? See, this is what executives and people in business don't look. They just continue to push it, and they yell at you, and they scream at you, and they get upset, and there's no way to go. There's no way to go. I'll tell you a little story about this. A month ago, I needed to get one of my tenants called and they say that they have a little plumbing problem in the house. So I told myself I called the Roto-Rooter guy. And I called this company. I went online and I looked at online, and this company was right on top on Google. And they say they give you $46 discount for the first call. Well, that's a pretty good deal. He's going to charge me $200. I say $46. So I call these people, and the woman say, somebody will be there by 6 o'clock this afternoon. I give the name, phone number of the tenants, and I arrange the whole thing. I coordinated the action to happen. Nobody shows up. I called the next morning to ask the woman. I said, well, hey, nobody called me to get a credit card number to pay for the repair. So she said, well, let me find out. Oh, I cannot find out. I said, can I call you later? To me, can I call you later means you're going to call me in the next 5 to 8 minutes. You're going to find the service guy, and you're going to say, did you go to this address? Did you do this job? I went to a meeting. It's noon now. I called the woman again. And she said, oh, no, it didn't get done. But we can send somebody now. I said, listen, madam, cancel the order. You told me yesterday 6 o'clock. I called you this morning. You say you call me back. You never call me back. I'm calling you back. So you're not reliable to me. See that? It was sincere. Maybe yeah, we're going to serve you. But reliability wasn't there. They didn't show reliability to me. I said, cancel the order. But yeah, but. Listen, it's no buts. I'm canceling the order. That's a declaration. You're fired. That's what I'm saying. You're fired. That's a declaration. And after you fire, you're going to come back to work. You're done. So I tell myself, okay, I'll call somebody else. I'm going to call somebody else, and the number I just dialed shows up in my phone. I answer the phone. It's this guy, the owner of the business. He says, hey, my name is VJ, and I say, sir, listen, it's done. It's done. See how declarations work? This is the declaration. I'm done. You're fired. He said, but Julio, I know you. I know you for a long time ago. You did some work for me when I had my other business. I did work for this gentleman. Please give me a chance. Please let me do it. Okay, get it done and call me. He still hasn't called me. I went to see him because then, hey, my tenant called again. I told him, call anybody you want to, get it done, and it got done. So I went to see VJ because I want to see what kind of operation he has. He has like 18 trucks doing plumbing all over the city. He told me that the business maybe, I'm trying to build my business, I'm doing like a $2 million, and my commitment this year is to get like $4 or $4.5 million. So I said, well, we need to talk. I thought, well, maybe it's a potential client here for me. So he was supposed to call me back. We were supposed to get together. Couldn't get him. I stopped one day, another day over there. He was in the way out of the shop because he's so busy doing. He needed to go take one of the trucks from the yard and go do some plumbing work. Come on, man. You got a $2 million company and you got to do some plumbing work? So this is what happened. You see, they're so busy in this thing over here, in the action, that things are not getting done. Working faster, working longer is not going to work. The problem with working longer here is this. If I'm going to ask my employees to stay until 9 o'clock, okay, every day, I'm going to bring some pizza or some Chinese food or whatever so they can have a little bite to eat, at 5:30. They can have some energy to work until 9 o'clock. The first 2, 3, or 4 days, maybe the first week, the first 5 days, I'm going to give my money back in return with the extra work. But now, he's home during the weekend. And the little boy, I said, Daddy, you haven't come to my soccer practice. And the little girl said, hey, you haven't taken me to karate. And the wife said, yeah, you need to come home for dinner. But he already agreed to work for another week. So now when he goes to work, he is not a committed worker. Because I'm not taking care of him. Okay? See, if I knew what my employees care about, and I know this individual has 2 boys and 1 little girl, and is very involved with the family, and he participates on the extracurricular activities of the kids, then I need to allow him. I need to select another employee in the company that can take for him, and maybe take turns. Okay, listen, Tuesdays and Thursdays I cannot work late. Could you get somebody else to do that because I got to take my kids? See what I mean? That's about caring for people. That's about being sincere. That's about being a competent executive. That's about being a competent leader. Okay? So the action doesn't work. So what happened? What does it take to get people in action? What does it take to get people into action without taking a whip and whipping people? What does it take? Okay? So what does it take to get people in action is commitment. Commitment. Commitment gets people in action. If you're committed, you will be in action. Remember the story I told you about the marathon running? Tell your pelvis, I was committed to break 3 hours. And when my coach told me, I told you, this guy's crazy. But then I changed my mind because I saw value in what my coach told me. And I committed. I told you, I took 2 steps. I took 2 steps. I took 4 steps. I took 8 steps. Then I ran a quarter mile. And that got me to 2:42 PR on a marathon. See, but I was committed. I was not going to take the foot out of the gas pedal. I was going to get to below 3 hours. Now, let me show you here. If I have a room with 100 people, and I ask the question, how many of you would like to lose 15 pounds? How many people you think will raise a hand? 90% of the people. 90% of the people raise their hand. Now I say, keep your hand up. Please, keep your hand up. Now, how many of you know how to lose 15 pounds? Everybody will raise their other hand. Everybody knows how to lose 15 pounds. How come it's not happening? Because they're not committed. They're not committed to their well-being. They're not committed to be different. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's your life. You can live it whichever way you want. It's not about making judgments over here. But that's a good example. How many people know that if you were to commit to go, instead of going home and watching TV, you're going to take a class at the local college or the university for the next 6 months or for the next year so you can finish your associate degree. And when you finish your associate degree, you can go to your employer as a boss. Look, I got my certificate. And then I can apply for a higher job. That's going to make me a little bit more money. I'm going to be doing exactly what I like to do. Maybe I'm going to be in charge of the people that they're not committed to go to school and get into action and get the degree. See, that's the way it works. That's the law of attraction. Law of attraction is the opportunities are there. But you cannot sit over here and wait for the opportunities to hit you like that. You got to go find the opportunities. So commitment is going to get your people into action. And when they get in action, we're all going to get the success that we want. Now, next question. How did you get people to commit? How did you get people to commit? Telling them? It's not about forcing people. What does it take to get people to commit? So let me give you the idea here. Conversations. You engage people into conversations. I have engaged you here for 2.5 days, and it's going to be 3 days, by 12 o'clock today. For 3 days, I have engaged you in a conversation for you to take what we have discussed in these conversations, commit to some of them, get into action, transform your life, and be successful. How's that? I say it again. We've been in conversations. I have distinguished the 6 linguistic distinctions in language. I'll repeat them for you. Assessment, assertion, declaration, request, promise, and offers. Those are the socks, the t-shirt, the shoes, the pants, and the shirt you're going to wear today. And you can rearrange them in any way you want to. I didn't give it to you in a particular order. If they don't have a particular order, I could start with offers. So this is the thing. I've engaged you in a conversation. Now, I have a client that told me the other day that he has 3 boys. He has 3 boys, and they are probably no older than 10, the oldest. So 10, maybe 10, 8, 6, something like that. And he said that it's really disruptive. They are very disruptive. I think these are really high energy kids. And he said, well, dinner time is just a total mess because it's all about correcting the boys. So he didn't know what to do. So I said, so they keep correcting them. They continue to tell them what not to do. So I said, well, what are they talking about? And I don't know what it is. It's no Legos. It's these little robot things. It's some little toy that kids play. I've never been at the toy store for the last 20 years, so I have no idea what kids play with today. But they're just little figures, that they play with, and they do war, and they eat each other, whatever they do. So I said, well, how much do you know about that? Well, I know a little bit about it. Well, so you need to know more. Because you see, if you were to engage in a conversation with the boys during dinner time about whatever that thing is, and you can lead the conversation, then you're going to have order at the dinner table. And then conversations, you cannot ask a 6-year-old to commit to too many stuff, but you can be committed to get the kids in the right action, to produce the right result, so we can have a family time. Okay? So he went home, talked to his wife. He came back next week. 2 weeks after that, I met with him again, and he said, you would not believe what happened. You would not believe what happened. The other thing is the fight going to school. They get in the car and they're doing that thing. You have kids or nephews or neighbors that you got to take to school. It's terrible when they're little. So I said, well, why don't you guys do something together? Instead, we say, shut up, don't do this, don't hate your brother. That conversation is not a good conversation. It's not a good conversation. So he totally listened to what I said to him, and I talked to his wife, and they both together, then they're trying to manage the behavior of the boys in a way that is pleasant to be with the boys. And it's not it's not effortless. It will never be effortless, but at least it's manageable. And that is a win for them.